All right, we're back at it again. Welcome to another episode of Rap and Reason Podcast. This is episode 22, and I am one of your hosts, Dr. Jeremy C. McCool.
And I'm Earl Hopkins. What's going on, man?
Man, what's good, bro? How you been? How was your holidays?
Holiday was smooth, bro. Celebrating in Philly. This was my first time doing like Thanksgiving dishes, bro. So that was a whole learning curve we had to get around. That was like, I ain't gonna lie, we were anxious about it. We had anxiety for like up until like maybe a couple of days. Nah. Probably to the hour that we were serving each other our food, bro. Like, because we cooked together but separate. We don't like turkey, so I did the short ribs. She did the mac and cheese, green beans. What else I do? I probably just watched. But yeah, that's what we did. That's how we put everything together, bro. So overall, it was solid, bro. It was good spending it, and making Philly our home. Like we're still working
Yeah.
on that, but Thanksgiving definitely helped. How about you, bro?
Bro, mine was good too, man. I ain't cooked nothing. I ain't gonna sit up here and act like I cooked something. I showed up. My girl and her family cooked, and yeah, man, I ate a lot for sure. Like, and the other thing, man, she also didn't do turkey, man. You know, I thought about this the other day. I think turkey is the most overrated Thanksgiving dish.
Absolutely.
Like turkey is really not all that for real. Like
It's not nothing to me.
It's typically dry. Like it's like most people can't make it right, and even when it's made right, it's still like it's okay. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
never
even
like,
when it's fried, like that's a new thing. That's been the thing. It's like, yo, let me
yeah.
fry it, and it's still dry, bro. It doesn't
Well,
matter what you do.
and sometimes like I've had some good ones. Like some people do like a Cajun style turkey, which
Oh
I've
yeah,
I've had those, which are pretty good. But even then, like yeah, they end up doing chicken, and it was like I much rather had that. They just did a whole chicken instead.
it's
Fire.
always better, bro. It's
The
always
mac and cheese got me, man. I look. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little embarrassed to say this, but man, I finished off some of that mac and cheese yesterday. I think I might be past the deadline of eating
Oh
leftovers,
my
bro.
God,
But
bro.
I'm still here. I'm still strong. You know what I'm saying?
But I say, bro, I'm surprised you ain't call out for the podcast with a stomach ache, bro. That's
Bro, I
disgusting.
don't know. Everything else is getting thrown out. Last night was the last
Yeah.
night of me digging in, bro. I'm done. I'm done.
Yo, I feel like there's enough evaporated milk or whatever is in mac and cheese to hold through. But if it was any other dish, bro, I'd be like concerned for your health. I ain't gonna lie.
I just did some sides though. I didn't do the meat.
Okay.
I did mac and cheese and sweet potatoes. Like I'm like I should be straight. Like
Sweet potatoes, man. That doesn't even like that's so good. Like I again, like our boy Mark Lamont Hill said this like on the gram. I saw this like the day of Thanksgiving. He said everybody's mac and cheese is mid. Like, what do you think about that?
nah,
Like
my
mac and
girl,
cheese is undefeated to me.
my girls is not mid, man. I ain't gonna hold you. Like he ain't had my girl mac and cheese. That's why he's saying that.
Exactly. He
It's
had
not.
bad mac and cheese.
Yeah,
That's for
that's
real.
what it sounds like. His family can't cook mac and cheese because I've had some fire mac and cheese in my day. I don't know. Now I've
Yeah.
also had some bad like restaurants can't do mac and cheese at all.
Not ever.
Terrible. I've never had impressive restaurant mac and cheese.
And you know what's crazy? They ain't like infuse unnecessary stuff too to like try to heighten it, and it's still like I'd
Facts.
rather have it at home. Like they'll have lobster mac and cheese, seafood
Crab
mac and
mac is
cheese. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And
And
it's
I in a
unnecessary.
restaurant ahead. I want to say I don't know if it might have been Roof Chris or something that got a lobster mac. It's good, but it's not like I
Yeah.
haven't had nobody have like a baked mac and cheese like that's fire from a restaurant. I ain't never had it.
Yeah. And then you got folks at home eating crab mac and cheese, complaining about other people's mac and cheese. Like, leave the room for criticism to the professionals. Like, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
it's true.
Yeah.
Nah, mac and cheese is it's a delicacy, man. I'm like I ain't gonna hold you. Like that's the star of the show. All the
What's
other
the
food that's there.
what's the one you can do without? I can do without cranberry sauce in a
I
heartbeat.
have never eaten cranberry sauce. I have no intention of ever trying.
Mm.
Like, bro,
Nah, I'm cool.
it looks disgusting. Like nothing about cranberry sauce ever made me want to taste it. Like it's
No,
safe Thanksgiving food. I'm cool on. Like that's one of them.
I'm cool on a turkey and cranberry sauce. We can agree.
This gonna
Absolutely.
make some people mad. I don't do peach cobbler.
You know what? I
Something
don't
about
do
baked
uh,
fruit don't sit right with me.
it, it. The only way I'm doing it is if vanilla ice cream is paired with it like
I've heard
equally,
that.
if not more. It got to be kind of doused in it, like low key. Otherwise, I can't even really have it. I don't do like cobblers or pies. Period. For real. That might surprise
Yeah,
people. I don't
no,
really
no,
do the apple pie, blueberry. I don't do
no,
those.
no. I don't do those either like that. But sweet potato pie is different.
Oh yeah, sweet potato pie. That's an exception. That's
Yeah,
an
but I'm
exception.
not the biggest pie person outside of that. Nah.
Nah, I'm not doing it.
I do pecan pie. No, I do that.
Yeah, pecan pie. Dang. So I guess we do pie. It just got to be those like
It's just
two.
not the fruit pies. That's what I'm saying. Like
I'm
fruit
not a
and
fruit
pie
pie
just
guy.
ain't really. Nah, I don't want
Mm.
no canned fruit inside of a pie. Like I'm,
This might surprise people. I know. Why are we talking about food? I don't
but
know, but
this is a right. I swear, y'all, this is a hip hop podcast. For any new listener, this
yeah.
podcast this is not a food podcast. We real fat on here right now, bro.
Yeah, I was about to say I was about to get in cheesecake, bro. I was about to dive in that whole realm, bro. Insane.
No. Look, we let's get to hip hop. We're gonna get to we like
Mhm.
10 minutes in all food. All right, look. So
Yeah.
the first thing I want to talk about is how do you think, it's been about a little over a week since GNX dropped by Kendrick Lamar.
Hmm.
Are your thoughts about it still the same, or are your views still as crazy as they were the last time we had you?
You know what? You know what?
Come on.
They're very much the same. They're very much the same, bro.
Oh
Like,
my God.
yeah, like
That's
now
crazy.
I will say, so I actually found out, I'm pretty sure you found out who the actual artist that Kendrick was referring to in the first verse on Reincarnated. Like, I'm pretty sure you know at this point, right?
I do
Um,
not. I still don't know.
I'm gonna look it up on the pod. But once like I watched one of my writing heroes is his name is Craig Jenkins. He writes for Vulture. He's a like music critic there, writer. And so how he broke it down is exactly how I would break it down. I'm like, yo, y'all asked for the beast. That's exactly what y'all got. This is
Yeah.
what GNX means to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel very much the same way I felt when I first heard it. I was like, yo, this is a moment. This is Kendrick's moment. And I feel like while it isn't a perfect album, no, it's like it's really good. Can we just like just
No,
accept
no,
that fact? You know
it's
what I'm saying?
really good. And see what the thing I wanted you to, change your mind on was reincarnated and man and
Yeah.
but and man in the garden, but you still standing 10 toes down on those.
Yeah. Like so
Come
hold on.
on.
So the first verse was John Lee Hooker.
Oh yeah, I
That's what
did see that. I did see that. I didn't
yeah.
know if they verified it, but that one makes the most sense.
It makes the most sense. But how I feel about it, yeah, I feel much of the same. Like those are all skippables for me. What I realized though is that I agree. I feel like Reincarnated was almost like a small slight at Drake, like you said on last episode, where it's like you need the AI to do this. I can really channel these people like
Yes.
in real life,
I'm
dog, and
really
I
I'm
really embody these people. You know what I
yes.
mean?
I'm really like that.
And yeah, and in context to like the song title, you know what I mean, the beat that he got like from Made N-words, whatever from
Yeah.
Tupac, like I kind of get it all. It really all pieces it together. It's just not a record I really just enjoy listening to. Like I like
Okay.
the everything else about it, but the actual listen.
You
And
don't
Man at the
like
Garden is great.
you
Yeah.
don't like you don't like it sonically.
I just don't like it sonically. Man at the Garden, I feel the exact same way, but I love the messaging for
Okay,
sure.
I'll
You know what I
take
mean?
that. I can take that. I can
Yeah.
take that.
Yeah.
Because sonically, some stuff just don't lean towards you. And you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Yeah, that everybody's taste is different with that. Like, and I still feel the exact same way about the album too. I will say, I got to go outside a little bit. I had a few days off work, so I got to step out a
Uh-huh.
little bit. You know what I mean? And I got to hear a couple of these songs out. So like TV off, I said it was cool. No, that song not cool. That song is a lot better than cool. Like me actually hearing it amongst
Yeah.
people, I was like, nah, this one is a lot better than I gave it credit for. So that one I will say, I like that one more than I thought I would. I still feel the
Yeah.
same way about Peekaboo, but overall, the rest of the album, fire.
Yeah.
Nah, Cole, I mean not Cole, Kendrick did his thing, man. This is like I said, there's no, like there aren't many perfect albums, but this is a
Mm.
great album, and this is probably I'm not gonna say it yet because I got to really think about it, but this is probably to me still the best hip hop album of the year.
Oh, wow.
I'm not gonna fully dive. I'm gonna really sit back and think before I really make that, but I'm thinking so. It's the one I like the most. Like on replay, I
Mm.
think this one is gonna last the longest in my playlist, and I think as far as the messaging and the actual like substance in this
Yeah.
album because it has a mix of both like more conscious records but also the club records and I
The
think
R&B records too.
the
Yeah.
R&B record like Luther
Mm.
is hard. Even
Hard.
I've played that song a lot since it's
Hmm.
you know what I mean. So I think that Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna give it some thought, but it's definitely in the top three hip hop albums of this year. It might be one for me. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. And we're gonna do an episode. I'm sure we're gonna do a end of year like best project, best record, all that like
Absolutely.
on our own in the next, couple weeks or so. But I think where it sits for me right now, that's tough, bro. I would say it's definitely in top five. It would be tough for me to put it in the top two though. Like because there's just certain
What you got?
albums
What
that I
you?
like
No, no,
more.
you got Tyler the Creator above it. I'm assuming.
I
Who you
don't.
got? Who you got above it?
Uh, you see, this is where the thinking comes in because I'm saying stuff. I'm not really that confident in. I think
I'm
like,
not. Well,
yeah,
whose album? Because I thought that's where you were gonna go with it. But if it's not Tyler's, what album you think is
it's
better?
not Tyler's. I think like it doesn't have as much replay value for me personally, but I really like Ab Soul's album. I really like Don Toliver's album. That's tough, bro. I really like Schoolboy's album.
Yeah,
Uh,
I did too.
It's tough, bro. I'm gonna have to really sit down and actually think about that. But it's tough. So that
Yeah,
means something.
it's
That
tough. And
means
I'm about
something.
to say, I think it was a good year in hip hop. Honestly, like I really
Yeah.
feel like there was, and we haven't even gotten to like the Rhapsody's album was dropped, Big
Yeah.
Sean's album dropped,
Hmm.
Cole's album dropped. Like it was a
Yeah.
lot of dope music this year. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's good that we can that there's a great album like this and we can really debate it. But we'll think more on that. But all in all, yeah, man, still fire. Highly recommend y'all checking it out. To me, one of the best songs on there is still Luther. Luther, I think that's the
Yeah.
one going to last. And another thing that we want to for anybody who's not aware of, Kendrick and SZA just announced their tour.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. What
And
do
they're
you think about
stopping in
that?
Philly in May.
They're stopping in PA twice. They're stopping in Philly and Hershey.
Oh, what? I've never
Yeah.
heard anybody go to Hershey, so that's big. That's big.
Yeah. So they
Yeah.
doubling up, man. What are your thoughts on that combo doing a stadium tour together?
Man, that's going to be incredible. And I'm glad they're doing a stadium tour versus maybe like something a little bit smaller. That's no knock. It's just like that's how big these artists are, especially combined. So I love seeing that. First of all, they make great music together. Having them both on stage, like I've seen them both perform. They're really like Kendrick is like one of the best performers in music, let alone rap. So
1,000%.
like he's an alien on stage. And I know like for those that haven't been to many hip hop concerts or rap concerts, which I assume if you're listening to this podcast, you have been to many. Um, but like to be able to rap like for 5 minutes at a time, then double it up, do another song, and you're rapping the entire time, like that's not normal.
No.
Like most people got background vocals and they're like having the crowd, they're bringing the mic to the crowd and just to catch up, their breath and everything. But his breath control, his performance, how eclectic like the design is, and just like everything tethered to the whole performance is like very different. So to see him and SZA together, bro, that's gonna be massive, bro.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more, man. I think that it's a great pairing just because I believe even though they're on the same label, their fan bases to me aren't the same. So I think that they're going to be able to tap into two different people. I think that there are people who like Kendrick and like SZA, but there are surely
Mhm.
people who like SZA who don't listen to Kendrick, and the people who listen to Kendrick who don't listen to SZA. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
think that they're going to be able to tap two completely different audiences, which I think is why they chose stadiums to
yeah.
do it because you're going to draw in a lot of people. There's going to be one of those the like few shows where you're able to happily bring out the boyfriend and the girlfriend. Like they're gonna both be able
Yeah.
to be like, yeah, I'm both equally excited about the tour. Like,
100%. That's
yeah,
1,000%. Yeah. And it's going to be in Philly, it's going to be at the Link, which again, like it's another stadium among the many on the 19 date tour. I think it's 19 cities. Um, I like seeing that because like when Bad Bunny came to Philly, when Taylor Swift came to Philly, when Beyonce came to Philly, like the city, it felt like, yeah, shut down for like a moment. You know what I mean? And so I feel like those two artists deserve that moment equally.
I
Um,
agree. And let me tell you,
yeah.
bro, this is the one of the few times where I'm mad I don't work in traditional media anymore to get free tickets. Like I'm mad
Yeah.
that I that like bro, you look. This is a great position for you to be in. I missed those free tickets to stuff. I'm mad. I got to come out of pocket and pay for this because I gotta go.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't not
Yeah.
go to this.
Yeah. And I'm glad I'm
I'm gonna
not, bro.
find a plug though. I'm gonna search and try to find a plug.
You should. You should. I'm sure you'll find some. See, I don't have to search, and that's the beauty of this
You
whole
see,
conversation.
you see what I'm saying? You get to go there and work,
Oh,
man. I gotta
man.
pay for this.
But I
Mm.
will say though, when you're actually working the concerts, bro, it's not fun. Like, like it's work. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
That's the only trade-off. It's like, yo, this was fire. I can't wait to tell my whole friends, all my family about it. But hold on, I gotta meet this deadline. Like as soon as I get
yeah.
back from the concert venue, like
You gotta
that's all.
write. Yeah, you writing
Yeah.
instantly. That's true. That's true. Yeah. That I would.
It
Too
trades
bad,
off.
man.
Yeah.
The academy, man. The professors. That y'all don't get professors. None. You know.
That's crazy. They're educators, man. Give them something. Give them a
Get a
stipend.
show, get a professor something, man. Give us some
Yeah.
tickets. Nah, but I'm looking forward to it. That's gonna be a dope tour. Yeah, I'm look that made so much sense. When I first saw this lineup, I was like, man, Kendrick has a team behind him because this makes too much sense.
Too much sense, bro.
This is
And yeah,
almost like it's almost gonna draw in like the same type of audience that like that Hove and Beyonce did. You know what I mean? Where you get the real hip
100.
hop fans, and then you
Mm,
get the real a lot of women who are really into R&B fans too. Like, so I think you're able to really draw in a lot of people.
for sure. So I think this is a match made in heaven, like honestly. Yeah, and we should have expected this now that I think about it, because they did an artist to artist interview like what last month, 2 months ago or something for Harper's Bazaar, where SZA interviewed Kendrick. Which
Yep.
I traditionally don't like those because these they not
That's the
journalists. They're
journal.
not
That's
gonna
the
ask.
journalist that you already know you didn't
Of
like.
course, of course, I'm a hate, but like you ain't asking this man real questions. Like we really want to get into but it was still solid though. I still think it was solid regardless. And he opened up to her in ways he probably would never open up to a journalist. So it
Yeah.
worked out. And now you hear the music, and now we're looking forward to the tour. So I'm excited, bro. It's gonna be
Yeah.
magic.
Yeah, man, it's gonna
Yeah.
be lit. So yeah, shout out Scissor, shout out Dot, man. We're looking forward to that tour, man. I'm gonna have to find a way in there. You know, Kendrick, we writing a book about you, man. Just send some tickets to, you know what I'm saying? Holla at your boy,
Come
man.
on.
We helping, write your legacy right here, man. We
Right.
documenting, your impact, If you want
Fast. We not asking for backstage access. We ain't
no,
asking for like, you know what I mean? Like, come
no,
on.
I'll take the third row. You ain't gotta be front row for, you know what I mean?
I'll take
Third,
the
fourth,
third
fifth.
row.
You see, I ain't say
Right.
nosebleeds. I'm at a stage of my life, bro. If I gotta be in nosebleeds, I don't even want to go. I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm not,
Nah,
especially in the stadium. I'm not. I might as well
nah.
watch it on. I might as well watch it on live stream if I'm gonna do that.
Honestly, at that point, you'll get you more comfortable. That's for sure. And you're around better people. That's also for sure. Having been in the
Yeah.
nosebleeds for a Kendrick concert, you are rubbing shoulders with some of the worst humans on earth. That's just a fact, bro.
Now, that
Like,
was some elitist stuff right there, man. Because they
bro,
got because they got a back.
no,
No, that's
it's
not
the
right. That's not
attitude.
right, Earl.
It's the attitude. Half of them don't even want to go. They just going because they man's is going. Like,
And because the ticket was $30. That's
exactly. Like, respect the artist, bro.
that is hilarious. Nah,
Mhm.
nah, yeah, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. But
Yeah.
on another note, man, great transition from speaking about Kendrick. You know what I mean? We're writing a book
Mhm.
about Kendrick and another artist by the name of Jermaine Cole.
Yes.
And J. Cole has been rolling out his past mixtapes, man, onto streaming platforms, which is amazing. That's been his newest push, along with his audio series that he's been putting out. He's been doing that audio series about his journey while also rolling out the mixtapes that were a part of his journey as an artist, which I think
Mhm.
is a dope meshing of the two. I think that it made a
Yeah.
lot of sense. I think it's a very smart rollout of his mixtapes onto streaming platforms. Um, with that being said, he rolled out one recently that's made a lot of waves and has a lot of people talking about it again as if it's a new release, and that is Friday Night Lights.
Yes.
Yes, man, bro. When Friday Night Lights first dropped, I know I was in high school, so you must have been what, middle school
Probably. Yeah. Or a little bit
or
before.
early high school, maybe.
Yeah. When did this
Let
drop?
me see when Friday Night Lights dropped.
2010?
2010. Yep.
Yeah, I was 13, so middle school, probably seventh, eighth grade. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So when it first dropped, were you hip to it when it first came out, or did you listen to it later on?
I listened to it later on because at
Okay.
that time, ironically, I think I was more into Drake. I think I was more into Drake, and a handful of artists like Wayne, of course. So I didn't really like get onto honestly, I didn't get onto the J. Cole train until what's that song with the music video? Who that? Yeah. Like
Okay,
that
yeah.
was my first time probably really listening to Cole. So it Friday Night Lights went past me until I didn't
Okay.
catch it until later. Yeah.
Yeah, and mine was really the polar opposite. So like I was already on Cole before then. Like the come up to warm up, I was on Cole music pretty early, even really before he kind of blew up mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Just from his mixtapes, you know what I mean? And that was the Dat Piff live mixtapes era, where everybody was
Yeah,
digging up mixtapes. Um, and yeah, man, when I first heard this, man, I was to me it still is one of Cole's best projects
for
in
sure.
the work. I put it neck and neck with 2014 Forest Hills Drive. It really depends on which day and which one I like more. I think this one really solidified J. Cole as an elite rapper. I think that this was a moment that solidified him in that way. And I was in high school listening to it, man, and it resonated with me highly. Especially because it released right around before I was about to go to college, and he was talking
Perfect.
about his experience with college.
Yeah.
He was just talking about a lot of stuff that I related to within this specific mixtape, and he was rapping, man. It was great production. He was rapping over some older beats, some
Yeah.
original beats. And it was a good meshing of the two, a lot of dope samples. Yeah, just a great project overall, man. And I think that he was able to really show off his storytelling a lot in this project.
For sure, easily. Like this is one of my favorite Cole projects in general. I think I put it, yeah, no, because I put it over KOD. So it would have to be second for me. I think 2014 is like in a category all its own, just because while you were like going into college when Friday Night Lights dropped, I was going into college when 2014 Forest Hills Drive
That makes
came out.
sense.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But they're like similar in the sense that when I think of them, I think of cold for some reason. I don't know why. Like I always think of the winter time.
I do too.
Yeah, it's weird in that way, but like it's great storytelling, and I think Friday Night Lights is perfect example of that. And for him to have done this, like I know he had a couple mixtapes before this, I believe, but like
Yeah,
he was already in true form by the time this dropped, bro. Like
absolutely.
this is crazy. Like I go to songs like for me, I go to Before I'm Gone, Villamatic, I love. I still listen to that
Oh
every now
yeah.
and then. Enchanted with Omen. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. And the storytelling and just the way he's breaking stuff down is just amazing. And then one of my favorite records, probably of his in general, is the Autograph and SeaWorld, bro. Like, I don't know what
Yeah.
it is about those records. I'm a mini on this project. I'm just automatically drawn to, and I was drawn to it when I first heard it, maybe in maybe 2012 when I really first heard this project. So yeah, it sounds more like an album than most people's albums, that's for sure. Yeah.
It sounds better than most people's album, and I think that's
Yeah.
what makes it stand out so much to me is you could tell how he really took this as serious as somebody would take an album. Like this wasn't a bunch of just random freestyles or
Nah.
like this was not that. These are well thought out, intricate songs on here. There's some freestyles in between in the mix just to keep it
Yeah.
interesting, but these are like well thought out, well crafted songs. For me, some of the standouts, Too Deep for the Intro is one that I always go back to.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
just love it as an intro for a project. It's one of my favorite intros, just because um, it really embodies who Cole is as an artist. And you know what I mean? It's kind
Hmm.
of like this battle between, should I talk about the mainstream money and all this stuff, or should I talk about all of this, what's going on in our communities and what's going on with, all of this more profound and thought-provoking stuff. And I thought
Hmm.
it was a dope concept, and the sample was just fire. That,
Fire.
yeah, Before I'm Gone also, Enchanted. I
Yeah.
listen to that song a lot still. Some of these songs I actually use in my classes. My students actually just listen to Two Face. Um,
Yeah.
that's one of the Cole songs I had them listen to. There's a couple on here that I've had my students listen to, and we actually just had a conversation about Cole and Kendrick in my socially conscious hip hop course, and it was interesting, man. One thing that one of my students kept mentioning is like who prefers J. Cole's music over Kendrick is she was more so saying like that, she prefers it because Kendrick is so more animated and all of that. And she was like,
Mm.
with listening to Cole, it feels like he's just having a conversation with you. and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very like this is dialogue, this is a conversation. It's very calm, but I'm walking you
Mhm.
through where I am in life, and I couldn't agree more as far as his messaging. And this is like a perfect example of some of the songs on here. Cost Me a Lot, another one that I love. That's one of
Yeah.
like I just always loved that song. Home for the Holidays is one that resonated with me a lot because, like I said, it was around the time when I was about to go to college, and then once I went to college and had to go home for the holidays, it resonated even more because it was like, man, I'm going through the same stuff when you're seeing people who you grew up with
Mhm.
and where
Yeah.
everybody else is in life, and yeah, man, a lot of songs on here. There's not many songs on here that I don't like, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's probably one or two if I have to be picky, and I don't hate them. You know what I mean? They're just like okay, but yeah, most of this album I love. I will say that I'm upset that "Looking for Trouble" isn't on here, man.
Yeah, that's what I was like eyeing. I'm like, why isn't it on here? I'm assuming
Kanye,
it's
I, I
sampling
have
maybe.
to assume it's either got to be a sample or it's got to be Kanye. You know that one is the one with Ye on. I don't know if Ye produced it though.
Uh
Um, Yeah, man, we need that. So, well, however y'all got to roll that out, whatever y'all need to work out with the samples, yeah, we need that. We need Looking for
yeah.
Trouble, man. That one was featuring Pusha T, Sci High verse on there, crazy. Big
Insane.
Sean verse on there is crazy. Like
Hmm.
that one, we need that. I don't know why that wasn't on this one. Maybe they're gonna shoot a video for it. I don't know. Y'all need to do
I
something,
don't know. Yeah.
but
It
I
has to
need
be
that.
on
I,
here,
I
bro.
need y'all to get that added ASAP. I haven't heard it in a long time, and it brought back memories. Just like when the project came out, and I was looking for it. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, dope overall, man. Like I said, not many things that I don't like about this project. Like not even just being biased to somebody who loves Cole's music. Like this is just one of those projects where I love 90% of it.
Yeah, nah, it's dang near perfect, bro. Like, and I
Yeah,
don't say that often. I don't just throw that around. Like, it's dang
no.
near a perfect like mixtape project. Period.
I'm really looking
Yeah.
for a song I don't like, and I don't know. I'll keep saying that there's probably one or two, but it might not be.
Yo, I probably best friend. I don't
That's the
dislike
only
it.
one.
I
I
could
was
probably
just
just do without it, but I don't dislike it though. Yeah,
yeah. Best friend is probably the only one that I'm like it's I. Every
yeah,
other song on here I like.
yeah. I'm
That's
good with
crazy.
every other song, but
Yeah,
that
man,
just speaks. Yeah.
we have to talk about this project a little differently, man.
Why you say that?
No, I'm saying like the culture and hip hop needs to talk about this project differently. Like this needs to
Yeah,
be, when people talk about, Cole not having a lot of classic,
that's
albums or
true.
projects,
Yeah,
we gotta start throwing this in the mix too, because this is like,
yeah,
yeah. And I think sometimes because these mixtapes aren't on streaming platforms, when people talk about people's discographies, they don't include the
mhm.
mixtapes. But this is one of those mixtapes this is an album for real.
No, it's basically an album. Like when I think of, and that's the complaint I have about people that try to look at Drake's career too. Like Drake has classic projects, bro.
Oh
Like
yeah.
can't nobody dispute it. Just because So Far Gone isn't a album,
So far
it's
gone.
album quality, bro. Don't do that. It's a classic like project. You know what I mean?
I
So
I
and
want
Friday
I
Night
could not
Lights right there.
I
Yeah.
could not agree with you more. So far gone is a classic.
Mm,
It's a classic. There's no way around it. I remember
yeah.
when So Far Gone dropped, I was like, "Yo, this dude is nice." Like I remember that moment when that dropped, and I think that was high school for me too. It was early high school, it might have been like sophomore year,
Hmm.
something like that. But when So
Yeah.
Far Gone dropped, I remember that being a moment.
Big moment. And when you think about it, like around this time, 2009, 2010, 2011, especially, like the three biggest names in rap music, that's when they were on full go, bro. Like
Yeah.
that's when we pointed them out and said, y'all are up next, like, period.
Yes.
You know what
Y'all
I
are.
mean? There was other artists, don't get me wrong, like Wale to me. I like I know the argument. I can't really make an argument now, but at that time, I was like, Wale is gonna go crazy. What? Like, there's a big
No.
four. Like, that's how I saw it. But
Yeah.
time showed us otherwise a little bit. You know what I mean? But yeah.
And see, I felt like in that same era, I felt like that a little bit about Wale, but I really felt like that about Big Sean back
Oh
then.
yeah, Big Sean. For sure. For
Big
sure.
Sean in that era, I was like, nah, Big Sean is up next. Like, I really, and mind you, Big Sean is doing great, but I thought he
Yeah,
would have been more in that conversation as an
for
artist.
sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah, they had that was an era, man. That was really a resurgence of hip hop.
Yeah.
That little time period, that 2010 to 2013, man, it was some monsters that came out in that era.
It was special. Like Nip really
Yep.
rose like up the ranks too, like and
When did
putting on
Crenshaw
what it
come
was.
out?
Where or what?
When did that Crenshaw project come out? by
That was
Nip.
2013. So
Yep, that
yeah.
same era. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like one of my favorite projects. I love Mailbox Money. I know that came out. I think it came out after, but yeah, Nib was on a run around that time. Like he was starting to go crazy. Like
And
so
around
many
that time,
artists. Yeah.
I was in and out of Cali a lot, so I had a different appreciation for Nip. And once I started
Mm.
like moving around in California more, I was like, nah, Nipsey is different. Like how he can rap.
Like
Yeah,
actually rap. He's like he
I
got
had something to
positive
say.
messaging. Exactly. You know what I mean? Which is the biggest. Some people's biggest critique when it comes to like LA rappers, which is to me is unfair. You just haven't heard enough LA artists. You know what
I think I'm not gonna lie. I,
I
I think I think it's partially fair, and the
mean?
reason why
Okay.
I think it's partially fair is because LA has rallied behind artists who are terrible lyrically.
Like who? Like let's name.
Blueface, I do.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
That became their sound for a minute. That rappers that sound like that was like the base for a sector of artists that were bad. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I can understand why they would have gotten that perception. If you take Kendrick out of the equation,
Mm.
take Kendrick in the game out of the equation. You know
Well,
what I
I'll tell you who got unfair criticism is YG. If people actually listen to YG, he's not the most technically sound. I agree with you, but he has something to say. Like he
mean?
can
Yes,
rap enough. You know what I'm saying?
enough,
Yes.
and I'll say that YG's that album I can't remember the name of it. Some Crazy Life, my
Yeah,
crazy.
my crazy life or something like that. Yes.
That was a hard album. I remember
Bro.
that is
Yeah.
a hard album, and I remember
Yes.
when it came out and being like listening to it front to back and being like, "Nah, this is a great album."
And people got to remember that's LA sound, bro.
That
Like
is
that's
that's
the
true.
LA sound.
And I
And he,
remember
yeah.
at that time that was all that you heard in Cali. So you know what I mean.
Mm.
That album really that embodied what LA Sound was. I agree, but I think that era, even if you look at YG's not known for being a lyricist though. Nobody. You would never. I've never heard anybody name their top rappers and ever mention YG.
But yeah, I mean that's valid though. What I was going to say is, but who can you say is really top tier lyrically? Like that's like newer out of Atlanta. Like you can't really name that many folks. Like you can probably name as many lyrical artists from Atlanta that are new as you can with newer LA artists. I can't name that many. I could, if I thought about it, I could probably
The
name a hand.
reason I'll say what I think the difference is. I think that even the artists in Atlanta that aren't what you would consider lyricists, they're still technically better rappers.
Oh wow,
So like okay, I'll give you a perfect example.
yeah.
The Migos or Lil Baby, they rap better than YG.
Mm. Yeah, you're right. No, I'm not gonna
See
lie.
what I'm saying? Like if I say, hey,
Quavo's
if I
Quavo
put them
can't
in a
rap,
circle
but
and say rap, and you rap,
Quavo, as long as Quavo's out of the conversation, you got a point. Quavo's horrible, bro. He's horrible.
Quavo's not horrible.
He's not horrible. Like he's an artist to me. Like, but if you remember back in the day, I don't know if you've seen this video, but there was a Amigos freestyle. If it weren't for Takeoff, R.I.P., that freestyle would have been
Oh,
probably
well, Takeoff
memeable
definitely was. It was like, yeah, he was the one who
like
was.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I 100% agree there. He was definitely better than the others, that's what I
Mm.
mean by like, even if you take the rappers of them that aren't known as lyricists,
Mm.
they still rap pretty well.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
They don't have a
Yeah.
they don't have a Blueface is what I'm saying. They don't have anybody who's like in like that the Atlanta rap. I guess you could say Yachty or you know what I mean. So they had the Yachties and stuff who came out,
I
but
even think Yachty can rap sometimes. Like he can rap better than a Blueface. Like, yeah, like
yeah, they didn't
Blueface.
have anybody yeah, they put out artists who whether you like their sound or not or thought that
Mm,
they had substance or not, they could still their flows were still really good. They still had some
mm,
wordplay in there. Like it was still a little bit more of that to me. And of
yeah,
course it's subjective, but
yeah, of
to
course.
me, I think the Atlanta even the artists that aren't considered like super hip hop
Yeah,
lyrical they still can rap. Like Lil Baby, it may not be your forte, but Lil Baby
he can rap.
still rap. You know what I mean?
Objectively, he can rap.
Objectively, he can still rap.
Yeah, because a lot of the artists on Kendrick's project, I was like, nah. Like I
That's a
understand why they're on the album because like this is a hyper local regional sound that Kendrick is like capturing or recapturing, I guess, and putting his own like kind of twist on it. You know what I mean? Like
right.
elevating it, which I respect, and that he put the little homies on it the same way that Game put the little homies on My Flag from documentary 2.5. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's the same vibe to it. I respect I respect it, but like they're not really competing with a lot of these folks, like lyrically, nah.
Yeah. And that's what I'm
You
saying.
got a
Like,
point.
yeah, that's just when I listen, and that to me is I respected it too. I respect what he's doing for the West Coast, but at the same time, like
Mm.
when I hear some of those artists, I'm missing the talent part.
It's the vibe. They got the vibe. I
They
don't
got the
know if it,
vibe, they got the
I
vibe,
mean,
but I can't tell listening to them if they can rap or not.
yeah. But let me ask you this though: does the production that's very typical for that LA sound does it warrant lyricism? Like, does
Mm,
it call for it?
I think Kendrick is showing that it's better when it's there.
Got a point. I was about to say Kendrick is like changing the whole perspective on it because like he's rapping circles around these folks
Yeah,
on these exact same mustard-esque beats or
that's what
LA
I'm saying.
beats.
I think Kendrick is
Yeah.
showing, and maybe it's going to influence a lot of them to put more thought into their lyrics, which I think would be great. But I think that Kendrick is showing that type of production with some bars in
Mm,
it, it's like
yeah.
flawless, like it's perfect. Like,
Yeah.
and even with Not Like Us being a prime example, like that's that same West Coast sound, but he's rapping well over it, and it's like it's
Mm,
perfect. You know what I mean? So I think
yeah.
that yeah, I think they're showing that. And then I think even some of the artists in the Bay Area are doing it while rapping. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
doing a similar, it's a little, the Bay Area sound is slightly different. Like even like a Lil Russell, like his sound is
Yeah.
it's still adjacent to that though.
Yeah. It's hyphy, like it's different
Hype
for
feet.
sure,
It's
but
different, but
yeah.
it's still in a similar pocket to me. It's
Right. Like when
still
it
more upbeat.
that's what I'm saying. Like when people hear, they're like, "Oh, that's a West Coast sound." Like, period. Like it melds enough, like to compare
It
them. You know
melts
what I'm
enough
saying?
where I could play peekaboo and then I could go into one of those bass sounds and they're typically the same BPM. They're in the same pocket.
100%. You could play "What We Doing" by Lil Russell and Peekaboo right next to each other. I'd be like,
Right.
okay, that's the same region. Like it's the
Yes,
same
it,
sound or
it,
similar.
it, it makes sense. But Lil Russell is rapping well over it. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I think that to me that elevates. And like I said, I'm somebody who pays attention a lot to lyrics. So for somebody
Mm,
who doesn't, who just cares about the vibe of the song, it might not
yeah.
make a difference. But for
Mm,
me, I think it makes. I feel like it brings in more of the people who are looking for bars. You know.
absolutely. And speaking of bars, man, it seems like some bars triggered this individual. One of music's, not rap, but one of music's biggest stars. He made a motion, not motion. What's the words? I don't know. I don't know legalities and
Petition.
stuff. A petition, right? Like
Yeah.
for a lawsuit against UMG. Drake did. In the aftermath of the Kendrick Lamar feud, the announcement of him performing at the Super Bowl, and this album release, everything that came with this year, he's now deciding to petition for a lawsuit against UMG. What do you feel about it on face value? Like, what do you think about it?
So on face value, I think one thing that I wanted it to be very clear. I heard a lot of people saying Drake is suing Kendrick, and I have to be very clear that that's not the case.
Yes,
That's
that is not the
a
case.
different scenario. Now that would be I would view that completely different.
Completely.
And that's not to say that he won't. Let me also put out that
That's
disclaimer.
true. That's
That
true.
can still come later. But I think that as of now, I think that that's not the case. I think there's a lot of different layers and factors in this. I think one is that to me there is a conflict of interest and a bigger conversation that needs to be had about the fact that Universal Records it was is profiting from the beef of
Mhm.
two artists that essentially are both signed to the same label,
Which is insane. You know what I mean? When you think about
which is really crazy. And I know that
it.
Kendrick has more of a joint partnership with Interscope. Interscope is still owned by Universal Music
Mhm.
Group, and then also Drake being one of their premier artists signing a close to $400 million deal with
Mhm.
Universal. And I'm gonna be honest, man. Off when I first looked at it, I was like, man, this is crazy. Like who sues over a rap beef? Like, you know what I mean? That was my first reaction. But then I sat back and thought about it, and I was like, if I'm somebody who's done business to the level of if I have a $400 million contract with a company, I'm assuming that he's bringing in over a billion or billions of dollars to that company.
For
That
sure.
would just be an assumption. If that's the case, and you put marketing dollars towards a song that is calling me some ungodly things. If that's the case, I don't know if they put marketing dollars towards Not Like Us or not. I mean, they didn't need it because it was lit regardless.
Right.
I think that I can understand Drake's position on that. I can understand that being a problem contractually. I can see that being a conflict of interest. It's like, hey, I'm signed. I'm doing big billion-dollar business with y'all. I can understand it. My problem is, though, I will say, him mentioning Not Like Us in it, and defamation of character to me is wild. That's the part that got me, is the defamation of character part, and I think that's the part that is wrong because of the fact that, number one, you did the exact same thing.
Literally.
Like the exact same. You told us that Kendrick's beats his wife, which we don't know to be true. There's no evidence that have surfaced of this, but you said it in the song. I think that you mentioned that his child wasn't his and it actually was his friend's. We don't know if that's true. So not only did you defame his name, you technically defamed his wife's name because you just told the world that that's not her kid. If it is her kid, she could sue you for defamation of character.
Because she's not a public figure, and which would then make that claim that much easier to prove.
She's not a rapper. Not a rapper, not a public figure. Like, before the Not Like Us video, I never even knew what she looked like.
I didn't know what her name was, bro. And he probably said in records.
Yeah, right. And I never even thought about it. So, like, to me, that part of it is corny. As far as him suing the label, if he ends up, if the lawsuit goes through, he ends up suing the label for marketing that song, and if for some reason it goes against the contract, then I understand. But at the same time, I think him citing Not Like Us being defamation of character, it's just that to me that's crazy, and it looks crazy when you got smoked in a rap battle, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But on the business side, I can understand it.
Yeah, I agree. I think like the perception of it, like especially for because the reality is people they don't read, bro. So like
they don't. You suing Kendrick. That's all I saw.
That's all people hear and see.
People don't read. Yeah.
You're suing Kendrick because of the song. So like there's so much into it that goes into this whole scenario. I think I agree with the business aspect. And if it were anybody, if it was Jane Doe, John Doe, and the same stuff happened, I would be like, I understand like why someone would want to sue a record label for this.
Yes.
But let's not act like these record labels have ever been in your best interest. And also, also
you preaching now.
Drake's fans, bro.
Yep.
I've never seen people with no educational background in this arena turn into defense lawyers. I've never seen it happen so quick.
I'm not gonna lie, Drake's fans are different, man. I'm like
different.
Some of these real diehard Drake fans, like, bro, y'all love him on a different level. Y'all love him poster on the wall, stand Eminem level. You know what I mean?
Yes, bro.
Yeah, y'all got one. Y'all found one of his hairs and got it framed. Like y'all on that type of time.
Different.
I don't want no parts of some of these people I see online who are going too hard on Drake's behalf. Like,
insane. And these same fans are now, because of the situation, is how it's supposedly going to play out. They're now trying to position this as if Drake is this martyr who's doing this all for all artists, and it's clearly not a selfish one-man driven scenario. Let's not do that. He's not doing this for the industry of music. He's doing this for the industry of Drake.
This is not Prince.
No.
This is not a Prince type situation. And like I said, I'm somebody who I'm rarely ever going to back or my stance is rarely ever going to go towards the record labels over the artists. Like, you know what I mean? That's just not how I'm wired. And I actually went to school for music business, and quickly have learned there's so much wrong with the music business right now, and it needs to be under fire, and revamped, especially with streaming right now and how these artists are getting robbed. You know what I'm saying? So completely robbed in broad daylight, no mask. So I'm typically going to fall on the side of the artist. But with this being a rap beef situation, I just think I do think it looks crazy. And like I said, my real problem will stem from it if he decides to sue Kendrick, because of course the label is going to pass the buck. The label is going to be like, well, we don't have anything to do with what he said about you. You need to take that up with Kendrick. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Now, if he then turns around and sues Kendrick, now that's the corniest move in hip hop history.
easily,
You know what I
easily.
mean? So
Yeah.
if that happens, then my viewpoint is completely different. But as far as suing a label, I'm rarely going to be against an artist suing a label for breaching the contract. So
Yeah, nah, because you know what I mean. You know this better than anybody. The music label has taken advantage of so many of our artists, both present and those that have passed, bro. Like it happens every
yeah,
day. You know what I
facts.
mean? So yeah. So
Yeah, there's a lot of artists who have never truly been paid for the work. And like I said, with if I can understand the perspective of if if the label did put marketing dollars towards Not Like Us and push that song while they have a hundred $400 million contract with an artist, and this song is saying what it's saying about that artist, I can see why that would be probably a breach of the contract. You know what I mean?
yes,
Like I said,
and
none of us have
yeah,
read Drake's contract, so I don't know, but I would
yeah.
assume it would be a breach.
And if it's then affecting a new contract, right? Like if it's affecting new
And
negotiations,
that's
because Drake has done so much for UMG, for the music industry as a whole, because he's one of the strongholds within the music industry. If I were him, I would be trying to like go for $1 billion deal. So if
oh,
this has affected any of that, which I would imagine it has, then of course I would be upset too. I'm not gonna lie to you.
because if I'm negotiating with a company, if let's say Drake's deal just ended and he's in renegotiation for a company, and you essentially help promote something that devalued me as an artist.
Come on.
I mean, that is a conflict of interest. And mind you, I am not the biggest Drake fan. So you know what I
Mhm.
mean? But I gotta look at it objectively on the business side. I mean, that looks crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's almost like having a star player who's going into a contract year. He gets hurt. You have some doctor do some malpractice, and now you hurt the, the player just that much more. And then
Yeah.
trying to, you know what I
And then
mean? It's
you
the same
say,
thing.
okay, now I'm gonna pay you less because you're injured. You know what I
Right.
mean?
You know what I mean?
That's what that looks like. And like I said, there needs to. I truly believe that, and this is how I thought. I thought when they were releasing these diss songs that they were doing so outside of their labels. That was
That's what
my
I
thought.
imagine.
I never
Yeah.
looked at the credit of any of these diss songs, so I never knew. But I thought the record labels was just like, hey, y'all do y'all on this little thing, and I thought they were releasing these songs independent. Why? Which is why I thought that they were putting them out via Instagram or you know what I
Right.
mean, Twitter or whatever.
Hmm.
I thought that's because they were independent of the labels. But if the labels are, and maybe artists need to start putting that in their contracts, that you know what I mean, any disc records, you know, the labels have to stay out of it. Those have to be put out independently, or you know, what I mean, whatever. There might need to be some type of clause for that,
Yeah.
because yeah, that's a conflict of interest, bro. Like having two artists who are both signed under one company, and if you're putting any marketing dollars towards one versus the other, especially if you're not doing it for both equally. Now, if they put marketing dollars towards Family Matters, and they put marketing dollars towards that,
Hmm.
then it's even. Then it's an even playing field.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you only put it towards one artist versus the other, then I can see why it's a problem.
I can see why. Yeah, but like again, these music labels do whatever they want, bro.
They do whatever they want. That's the problem, man.
And they don't care what happens. Like, God forbid, like something happened between the two artists. Like one of them got seriously injured. Even worse, if they
Right.
got killed, right? Like they would still profit off of it, and they
Correct.
still don't care. They not stopping that bread from flowing in.
And a lot of them also have insurance, which a lot of people don't realize. They have insurance over the artist anyway.
Exactly.
So they're getting paid regardless. You know what I'm
Regardless.
saying? Of
Yeah.
what happens to that artist. And I think that is, yeah, man. I think people need to you know, the record labels need to be held under fire. You know what I mean? If Drake's the one who got to do it, but like I said, as long as he's not, I think if it gets to a point where he's incriminating Kendrick in any way,
Mhm.
or if he decides to put a lawsuit on Kendrick for defamation, I think that's the corny. That's another level of corny.
Yeah, and optics are optics too. It looks
Yeah,
corny anyway.
it look bad. It looked bad. I get it.
Yeah, it looks bad, but I guarantee you his counsel was like, "Yo, we got to do something." Like, you know what I mean? Like certain opportunities aren't available or as available as they once were. Like it makes sense to do this, maybe. I don't know. You know what I mean? But optics are optics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and right now I'm gonna tell you the optics look bad. I mean, he looked crazy
Look
doing
terrible.
it,
Yeah.
but
This is like the worst year. This is like probably easily the worst year probably in his career.
I think this might be one of the worst. I'm gonna be honest, man. This look worse than Ja Rule.
It looked worse.
I,
Sheesh. I
this
gotta think
look.
about that. Because what was the down year for Ja Rule? What? 02?
I don't remember
03?
whatever year that was
Yeah.
when Eminem, Busta Rhymes, 50 Cent, all of them was making songs about him. Whatever year that was,
Uh,
it was ugly. I don't.
yeah, I would say
It
this
was
is
early
worse.
2000s for sure.
I would say this is worse because Drake is up here. Like Ja Rule was big, don't get me wrong, but he
Huge.
wasn't Drake level. So this is, you know what I
This is a
mean?
this is a bet like this is a marketing PR nightmare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's bad. It looks bad, but like I said, from if you're able to step back and look at it objectively, I can understand why. Uh,
Mm.
like I said, what the labels are doing looks like it could be a conflict of interest. You know?
Yeah, I heard Charlemagne say this a couple of days ago. He was like, "Yo, what advice would you give to Drake if you were in his camp?" He said, "Just take a year off. Like, just take a year off, come back with an album." What are your thoughts on that, bro? I don't know. If I'm Drake's PR team, I don't know what to tell this man because it's not as if he hasn't dropped music since or hasn't dropped music videos since. He has, and it just hasn't done as much as it would have done, like maybe in just
Mm.
8 months ago, you know what I'm saying, or 9 months ago, a year ago, or whatever. So what do you tell Drake in this
If,
situation?
if I'm Drake and I'm as far as music and I want to put out music right
Mm-hmm.
now, and I'm worried about like musically, I would take a small break.
Mm,
Um, I would take I don't know about take a full year, but I'll probably take like 6 to 8 months of going
mm.
dark, and then I'll roll out the most fire R&B album ever.
I think he has to go R&B route. Like I
He
think he
should.
has to do
I don't nobody want to hear nothing tough right now. Don't nobody want to hear none of that. All
yeah.
right, you need to go completely
Yeah.
take care.
Yeah. Cause imagine if he tried to do a conscious album. I'll be like, bro, you just out of line. You out of pocket, bro. Don't make him undrake yourself. Like that's crazy.
No, no, no. He needs to
Yeah.
get back into that take care bag, put out some
Mm,
heat. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
and tap back into the base. That's what I would suggest. If I was on this team, I think that would be the best move. Take a break of just going dark. No social media posts. No barrettes in your hair. No none of this. None of this random stuff that he keep. No none of these
Wow.
random interviews with streamers who don't even know your music. None of this stuff.
Yo.
Nothing for like 6 months, and then boom, just dropped the album.
Cause honestly, I've never seen a superstar of his caliber take L's like this. Like that's why I hold Hove to such a high regard when it comes to rap because yes, he lost the battle when it came to him and Nas, but then he came back and was dropping heat. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know any other notable rap beefs he's personally lost. Like when it came to him and Wayne sparring for that moment, I felt like he got the better of him. I feel like he got the better of 50 Cent and their little it wasn't really a rap beef per se. It was more of a moment that easily died, but Hove to me is just untouchable when it comes to that,
But
especially when you go through like that moment of kind of you know, just a bad moment. So yeah.
but the reason why I can't the reason why to me it's a little unfair to for us to say that about Drake is just because when you really think about it, Jay-Z and them never really had nobody go nuclear distro. I mean, other than Nas, like Wayne and all them, they were doing little jabs here and there.
Mm,
You know what I mean? None of
yeah.
them they never got Meet the Grams, Euphoria, Not Like Us week.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
that's a wild week for anybody. Anybody get a
Yeah.
week like that, that's bad. That's gonna go bad for
Yeah.
any. You know what I mean? So
Mm,
what Kendrick did with that one was, I don't think we've seen that. Now we've seen some rap beefs that went back and forth, but it's to me, it's not even the rap beef. It's the after. You know,
mm,
that's to
yeah.
me that stuff is hurting his brand more than the actual rap beef itself. To be honest.
Like what? Like the actual music or like his response to the music?
I think it's the music. I think it's his response to the music. I think it's the interview that he just did on that streaming platform. I think it's the lawsuit. Now I think it's just everything to follow
Mm.
has just all been just off. You know what I mean?
It's been
Yeah.
off. It's been off. And like it again, it doesn't help because I think like all can be repaired with good music.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
he hasn't like honestly released any good music. Like the Hate Delilah, I know Drake fans want to act like that it doesn't exist. It does, bro. Like we heard it. The No Face joint, like it's
That wasn't
cool.
bad. That wasn't bad.
No, it's not bad, but
But that's
like
not the route he needs to go. Go take care.
that's what I'm saying. Like, and it was on some fake tough stuff. Like, if I remember the song correctly and the video, like I watched all that and I'm like, this ain't it, bro. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I just think he needs to take that 6, 9 month break and then come back with an album. Maybe do a collaborative album with Party. Do something like that, bro.
He
Like,
announced he announced that he was doing that collab album with
oh,
Party.
he is.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
it's
did.
announced. All right, all
Yeah,
right.
he did mention that, and I think that makes sense.
It makes sense to me,
I
especially
think
if they go on like a tour with it.
it's too bad he ain't cool with the weekend. He could use a weekend album right now. He could use the Take Care weekend vibe. That's the vibe.
Oh, that would
I,
be special. Not gonna
you know,
lie.
because that weekend played a large role in Take Care, and that's why that you know what I mean. And it sounds like it. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
think that collaboration worked, and I think that right now with all of this, I think that would be the vibe I would go for. But these rich people problems, man.
They rich people problems. I'll leave my poor self over here talking about these artists instead of you know what I'm
They
saying.
gonna be all right. He gonna be all right crying in his estate. You know what I'm saying? He gonna be
His estate is different when you got an estate,
yeah, no, not a house. Not a house.
not an apartment, an estate.
In a state. Yeah, nah. But another thing, man, we have a new segment for this
Yes.
for this show, man. And I think that it was long overdue. A lot of times in this show, we'll talk about different artists who we think should be more popular or we think should have a bigger
Mm.
spotlight put on them. And what we're gonna name this segment is Hidden Hits. So
Yes.
every episode from here moving forward, we will have a hidden hits segment. And during hidden hits, what we're gonna do is we're gonna name a few songs by artists that we think you all should check out, that we want to highly recommend, and that we think these are songs that should be hits. They're not. We're not gonna name songs that are already super, on the Billboard chart. There'll be songs that
Mm.
are not quite that level yet, but we think are just as good as the records that are up there.
Mm.
And I
Absolutely.
and I'll kick it off with a couple of this for this week's episode. Um, the ones that I really want to mention, let me go. La Russell recently dropped an album. For those who don't know La Russell's out of the Bay Area, independent artist. Makes some dope music. Plus, has a high output as far as music. Man, he puts out
Yeah.
probably 4 to 5 projects a year, easy.
Mm.
Um, but he has a recent project called From Vallejo with Love. And the songs on there that I want to recommend, there's one track called Lebanese, hard.
Mm.
Hard. Rapping on there. A lot of bars. It, it it gives me that old feel of like, I don't know if your high school had any people who was rappers who just like had bars. You know what I mean? But it sounded like gritty or grimy. Oh, yo, dang, y'all had no good rappers in school?
Nah.
We had a couple who was fire, you know what I'm saying? But this song sounds like that. It sounds like somebody who just jumped on and beat and just went crazy.
Hmm.
Lebanese is one of those, and then on another song that's just a more heartfelt, meaningful song that I think is dope from that project is one called "Throwing Roses." So those are two by him that I want to recommend, and then I'm gonna throw one R&B one in there. I give my girl credit because she put me on this one because this is a TikTok artist she found on TikTok. I don't be on TikTok like that.
Mm.
Shout out to y'all who've been showing love on our TikTok page at Rap
Yes.
Reason. You know, it's dope, man. So if you aren't following us on there, follow us on there. But my girl sent me this song called Birds by Deja McBride. Fire.
Okay. Okay.
R&B track. Fire. Yeah, dope song, man. So those are the three that I'll throw into the mix, man. So check out La Russell Throwing Roses, La Russell Lebanese, and then Deja McBride Birds.
Asian McBride Birds. I'm gonna have to check it
Oh
out.
no, you gotta check that one out,
Yeah.
bro. You gonna rock with it. It's hard.
Okay. So I think my hitting hits this week. I'm gonna keep it simple, yo. Like I've been listening to Bodie James for a while. I've been listening to him. He's artist. I don't know if he's in Griselda. I'm pretty sure he is, but he has that Griselda sound, like that hard
Mm.
nose, you know what I mean? Like sound that only Griselda could really like craft and cook up and make it sound like still, palatable to what people are listening to now. You know what I mean? Still making it modern. So I've been listening to Bodie James for a while, but he just released a project, The Brictionary. And so
The Brictionary is crazy.
yeah, man. These they wild. But I gotta give it to him on this project. He killed it. It's classic Bodie James. A song that stands out for me on the Brictionary is Rabies with Benny the Butcher. Anytime these kind of artists, especially Benny, is when he links up with a hairy fraud, bruh, it's always gonna be magic. So listen to Rabies by Bodie James.
Mm.
But in reality, yo, just listen to the whole project because Bodie James, Benny the Butcher, they those are the kind of artists, Conway the Machine, like those are the kind of
Yeah.
artists that are album or project artists. Like you got to listen to the whole joint to really appreciate it. So those are the ones that stick out for me. Another song we already reviewed this album, Corday the Crossroads, but I just have to emphasize how amazing the song is, yo. I've been listening to '06 Dreaming, All Alone and Never See It with Juicy J. Those are the three songs that have been equally in rotation, along with GNX, Bodie James, some of the other artists we get the pleasure of listening to in preparation for this podcast, but also the ones outside of it. So definitely check those out.
Yeah, bro. I'm definitely gonna check out Bodie James. I'm not familiar with him, so I'm looking forward to looking into Bodie James. Dope, dope, man. Look, episode 22, man.
Yes, sir. Another good one, man.
Another fire one, man. Hey, if y'all are not subscribed on YouTube, make sure y'all subscribe to at Rap and Reason. Rap and Reason. Also make sure you're following us on Instagram and TikTok at
Do
Rap
that.
and Reason. Make sure y'all are doing that, man. A lot of y'all are liking stuff, but aren't subscribed. Make sure y'all subscribe, man. Show us some love so y'all see when videos drop, man. Um, Shout out to everybody who's been commenting. You know what I mean? Whether you agree or disagree with our takes, man, we want to hear from you. So make sure y'all are commenting, liking, all of that good stuff, man. And we'll keep on giving you episodes weekly.
Yes, sir. Until
Yes.
next time.
Until next time, bro. Peace.